Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Says John with computer audio.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
I can
Hare,
imagine you speak French.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's class. It's given by His Holiness Candramauli Swami on the glories of Sri Madhavacarya. So, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
Glories Prabhupada. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, good. Okay. Umgyantimidandasya Ginajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Bhaja Hitanam Nibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. According to Vaishnav calendar, today is the disappearance day of Sri Madhavacarya, who is one of the prominent acharyas in Vaishnav culture. So we'll speak a little bit about him, and then we'll open up to some discussion. His life is quite interesting. I'll begin with some personal data about him. He was born in Udupi in the year 1118 AD, and he had the name Vasudev. That was his birth name, Vasudev. Even as a young boy, he was very, very powerful. His mother was sometimes he would be away from home and his mother would call him, and wherever he was, he would jump and land right there where his mother was. He was actually the son of the wind god Vayu. Sometimes you see the picture of three in one. There's Hanuman, there is Bhima, and there is Madhvacharya. These are all elements or energies of the wind god Vayu. So he had that power to jump and fly even as a young little boy. Um, the first story that we know in his life when he was about 5 years old, his father incurred a huge debt and didn't have any money to um, pay for the debt. So there was a tamarind tree in his backyard. So he went there and he collected the tamarind seeds. And then he went to his father and said, Father, you can take these tamarind seeds and pay the debt. His father was a little shocked, but then when he took the tamarind seeds, put it into the hand of his father, the tamarind seeds turned into gold coins. So even at the young age, he was a mystic, very powerful. And he said even when he was a young boy, he could jump like 1 mile from one place to another. He took up spiritual life from a Mayavadi guru named Achyuta Preksha. Achyuta Preksha, like that. And he worked under Achyuta Preksha. When he was 12 years old, he wanted to take the sannyas order of life. But of course, the culture was that he would need the permission of his parents in order for him to go ahead with the ceremony. So he went to his parents and he explained, please give me permission. I want to take sannyas. He said, you are our only son. If you take sannyas, what will we do? We will have no children. We will feel very unhappy. He said, all right, I will stay home until you have another child. And then when you have another child, I will leave. So they sort of agreed to his idea. After some time, another boy was born. And then he said to his father, now I can leave. Give me permission. He said, I can't do that. So his father reneged on the promise. And so, but he decided to take sannyas anyway. So he said, well, even if you don't give me sannyas, I'm going, because you had promised that once you have another son, I could leave. But so he started to leave, and his mother and father were following behind him, calling him to come back, come back, come back. He didn't come back. And finally, he stopped, turned around. His father came up to him and offered obeisances to his son, who at the time his name was Vasudev. And then Madhvacharya said, oh, this proves that I am a sannyasi, because father does not offer obeisances to his son unless the son is a sannyasi. So you have proven and haven't given your permission that I can take sannyas, and therefore he turned around and left. And he took sannyas at the age of 12 from a guru named Achyuta Preksha. He got the name Purna Pragyatirtha. That was his sannyas name. And the Madhvas, where, of course, he established one math, and he was the person who really began. And he connected himself with the Brahma Gauda Sampradaya. So you'll see Madhvacharya is also mentioned as a member of our Sampradaya. It's the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So we include Madhvacharya is included in our Sampradaya because, of course, we follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And therefore, Madhvacharya is also. The Madhvas are very enthusiastic there's two qualities that are outstanding in the Madhvite protocol for worship and activity, and that is they worship the Lord in their deity form. They're very big in deity worship, especially Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And they also are very, very enthusiastic to destroy Mayavad philosophies. They will challenge Mayavadis straight out and try to defeat him. There was one Mayavadi, his name was Vidya Sankara, head of the Sringeri Math. He approached Vidya Sankara and defeated him in a debate. And he was going place to place, meeting Mayavadis and defeating them. And this was really causing the Mayavadis were getting upset because it was formal debates where they would sit down and they would argue. And it was, if you lost your debate, you had to become a member of the winning side. So they were losing some of their, sannyasis and others. He met two scholars who were also connected with Mayavadi. They were known as Bhatti, I'm sorry, as Shobana Bhatta, and Swami Shastri, and they became disciples, and they got the name Padmanabhya Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. When he was very young, there was one demon who was in the form of a snake. His name was Manimam. And even as a young boy, he took his the toe of his left foot, the big toe of his left foot, and he crushed the demon simply by the toe of his left foot. He was very powerful. He was noted for his strength, physical strength also. He would travel around, and he went to Badrik Ashram, and there he met Satyatirtha, who also became involved with Madhva. And he actually heard Bhagavad Gita directly from Srila Vyasadeva. He was able to travel to Adi Badri, the place where in the Himalayan mountains where Srila Vyasadeva had his ashram. There's Badrinath, and then there's above Badrinath, there's Adi Badri. Nobody can get up there. It's simply full of snow. And it's high, high in the Himalayas. But he went and he met Srila Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva spoke to him Bhagavad Gita, and later he wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. These are some of the activities. One of the most prominent things in his life was he was on the shore of India, not too far from Udupi at that time, and there was a boat out in the ocean, and the boat was rocking and being thrown by the waves of the ocean. And there was obviously some danger on the boat. Madhvacharya, seeing the situation, he took his charta and started making signals. He knew the signals towards the boat so the captain could see how to maneuver his boat and get safely onto shore. And so by the service of Madhvacharya, that boat came and landed safely. The captain was very, very happy, and he met with Madhvacharya, and he said to him, you have saved my life, and also you have saved our load. Madhvacharya says, oh, okay. And He said, I want to give you some gift. Madhvacharya said, well, where are you coming from? He said, I'm coming from Dwarka. He said, oh, you're coming from Dwarka. You must have some Gopi Chandan, sandalwood. He said, yes, I have 2 huge blocks of Gopi Chandan, which I put on my burrow boat in order to stabilize the movement of the boat. He said, well, I want those blocks. You can give me them. And the captain was more than happy, and he said, but I cannot pick him up. They are so heavy. So Madhvacharya said, no problem. So with one hand, he picked up this block. It says it was so heavy, only 30 men could not even pick it up. And with the other hand, he picked up the other block and he started to leave, and he started walking towards the area of where he was born in Udupi. At one point, he got so far and he dropped one of the blocks. And when the blocks dropped, it split open, and inside was a deity of Balaram. And so he saw this beautiful Balaram deity, it's still there. You can see that he established a temple there, small temple, and he established the worship of Lord Balaram in that deity form. If you go today, I have been there once, and you can see this deity of Lord Balaram there. It's not a very frequented temple. People do, not too many people go there. And then he went on with the other block. And when he got there, it broke open, and inside was a beautiful Krishna deity. And that deity is now one of the most famous deities in India, known as Udupi Krishna, in the area of Udupi. Thousands of people daily come to take darshan of Udupi Krishna. I spent some time also there, and they do the puja, the worship of Udupi Krishna, for 5 hours every morning. And there's a little screen that connects the public to the deity room where you can look through this screen and see the worship and the dressing that's going on. And Udupi Krishna is baby Krishna. He carries a stick, and he also carries some, I think, some rice and some yogurt in another hand. And they dress the deity in different pastimes of Krishna. So you'll see him differently dressed each day in one of his personal leelas like that. It's a wonderful place. They're very favorable to our movement. There's one devotee who is a devotee of ISKCON who stays there and also is known, he does worship there. And there's a whole area behind the deity, around the deity, where you can do kirtan. It's a big kirtan hall, and there's other deities also in the area. It's a place where it's very worth taking darshan. If you go to India, take an opportunity and go to Udupi and get darshan of Udupi Krishna. They also give you a gigantic laddu, almost similar to the one in Tirupati, but different. And they make these laddus and distribute it also to the pilgrims who come. And it's a whole big compound there. So, and you can go as early as 4 o'clock in the morning and take darshan of the deity like that. So that was established by Madhvacharya, and he also established his main mat there. There's a place where he stayed, and there's a temple next to Udupi Krishna, where he wrote a commentary on the Atharva Veda. And there's I can't remember the name of that temple, but it's a very big temple right next to the Udupi Krishna temple. And there's also a Shiva temple right near there. And not to sound a little bit proud, but the Shiva, the deity who is worshipped as Shiva in there is called Chandramauli Shiva.
Chandramaulishwar.
Yeah, what is it? Chandramauli, what?
Chandramaulishwar.
Okay, yeah, Candramauli Ishwa. Ishwara, or something like that. Anyway, that temple's not so famous, but people go anyway. And that's right next to Udupi Krishna Temple. His life is really interesting. He, when he was traveling, he met one king who was digging a lake in the area of Maharashtra. And then he helped the king dig a lake. And he also asked the king that he's traveling and he would like some advice on how to travel in this area. The king said it's a very dangerous place to travel. There's a lot of Hindu Muslim fighting there nearby. And he said it's not a good time to travel. But Madhvacharya wasn't at all, phased by some possible danger. So he kept traveling. And he met the Muslim king in the area. And the Muslim king was very much amazed by him. And he offered Madhvacharya some money, but Madhvacharya refused. As he went on, he was attacked by a gang of dacoits, and he killed all of them simply by his bare hands. One time, one of his disciples, Satyatirtha, he was attacked by a tiger, and Madhvacharya came in and separated him from the tiger. He was known for his power and strength. He was the son of the wind god. As of all of the powers within creation, the wind is the most powerful. Winds can go up to 300 miles an hour. They can blow down whole cities. If the Lord wants it to happen, he can destroy the whole world simply by wind. Wind is so strong it can knock down any of these buildings that they build nowadays easily. Wind is so strong. So he was noted for his strength. When he was up in Badrik Ashram and met Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva gave him a Shalagam Shila to worship. And he worshipped that Shila. It was an Astamurti. That was pretty much the name of the Shila. He also took time and he wrote many books, and he summarized the Mahabharata very expertly, and he has given that. He became very popular, and the Sankaracharyas, the followers of Lord Shiva, became fearful. And they wanted to destroy Madhvacharya by defeating him. So there was the Sankaracharya said, we challenge you to a debate. And we say that your disciplic succession is not bona fide. And therefore, if we win, then you will have to give up this idea of your disciplic succession. So he accepted the challenge, and the Sankaracharyas had their best and most popular debater. His name was Pundarik Puri. And the idea is that you would bring your books, your Vedic books, to the debate. And therefore, when you needed it, you could refer to the books to offer proof of your arguments. But what happened was that the Sankaracharyas knew that he would win, so they stole all his books. And when he came, he didn't have any of the books that he needed for his debate. But anyway, he decided to go into debate without the books, and still, even without all his books, he defeated Pundarik Puri and established that, bhakti, devotion to Krishna, in the mood of Narayan, Vaikuntha, is superior to all other forms of spiritual worship. He met one very famous personality called Trivikramacharya, and he became his disciple, and also his son Narayanacharya. And Narayanacharya, he's famous. He wrote what is called Madhva Vijaya, and Madhva Vijaya is the life of Madhvacharya. He wrote this book, which is considered to be the most recommended book for all of us to read on the life of Madhvacharya. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, in one of his purports in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he's describing Madhvacharya in that purport, he said, we devotees should read this book called Madhva Vijaya, given by this Narayanacharya. So if you want to learn more, you get a copy of that book, and that is the most authorized book. It's authorized by Srila Prabhupada. He had tremendous bodily strength. Of course, we mentioned that he's the son of the wind god Vayu. One day, there was one very powerful personality. His name was Kandajari. And so here, Madhvacharya challenged him. He said, I'm going to put my big toe on the ground, not my whole foot, just my big toe. And I challenge you to lift that toe off the ground. And this person, he was known, he had the strength of 30 men, it said. He couldn't lift Madhvacharya's toe, just his toe, which was on the ground. And his foot was up and his toe was there. He couldn't lift it. So this is another example. He preached and he really established the philosophy of bhakti. Although we are in the same sampradaya, there is a slight difference in our philosophical teachings, and that centers around the pastime of Lord Brahma stealing the cows and calves. The calves and cowherd boys of Lord Krishna. You can read that in the 13th chapter of the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Prabhupada has written that as the last of all of his commentaries on Bhagavatam before he left the world. And in that particular discussion on that pastime, obviously it was Brahma who was bewildered by Krishna by when he stole the calves and cows. No, not cows, calves and cowherd boys, and put them in the cave. But Krishna expanded himself into a whole new set of cowherd boys and calves, which had all of the exact qualities of each and every one of those calves and cows, all the way down to their slightest personality traits. There was not even a slight difference. When Brahma wanted to see the results of his stealing, he came back to the scene and he saw the same scene that was there before he had stole them. He was bewildered. He ran back to the cave where he had put these boys and these calves, and they were there in a mystic slumber which he had created. And then he went back again, and he was going back and forth. He couldn't figure out what was the real one. And Krishna again expanded himself into Vishnu forms, and then he changed all of the calves and cows into Vishnu forms. Brahma tried to bewilder Krishna. That was the whole pastime. Thinking, who is this cowherd boy? He killed this powerful demon named Aghasura. Brahma didn't see the killing, but he had heard the tumultuous celebration after the killing of Aghasura, and he came out to see what was happening. And he saw this cowherd boy, and he was thinking, who is this cowherd boy? And so he decided to play a trick, but he was the one that got tricked. So in this particular pastime, the Madhvas do not accept one principle which we accept, and that is, they say, the head of the Sampradaya, which is Lord Brahma, cannot be bewildered. He cannot be bewildered because he is our Sampradaya Acharya. But Krishna can bewilder everyone, and he even bewildered Balaram in that same pastime. So, because they don't accept that, there is this difference of philosophical understanding. But we go sometimes to Udupi during the Pariyaya. Happens every January, every other January, where they change the leaders of the mosque. They have 18 different temples where it's led by one particular sannyasi, and they worship the deities there. I met one Madhvacharya who left India and came to the West. He came to New Vrindavan. I met him there. And he was speaking pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. And he was somewhat considered to be an outcast by the Sampradaya because he had left India. It says that, if you cross the ocean, you become fallen. You go to the land of the Malechas, you become fallen. But he went there to preach, and he defied their rule. And when he came back, they tried to, he was meant to be the new head of one of the mosques, and they tried to block his inauguration, but it was unsuccessful. And he became, so that was a big controversy. And there was a lot of newspaper articles and a lot of things that were happening during that time. So, and Tejo, what's his name? Pejo and Tejo, what, do you remember their names, Sri Devi? The two sannyasis who were the leaders of the Madhvacharya's mosque. Just recently, one of them died, Tejo Armat Swami and Pejo Armat Swami. They were so important when there was that big controversy over the birthplace of Lord Ram between the Muslims and the Hindus. The government of India came to Udupi and gave a helicopter ride to Tejo Armat Swami to come to Delhi and give advice on how to deal with that. So, and one time, His Holiness Radhanath Swami spent some time there also, and they were glorifying amongst the leaders there. Maharaj was there. They was glorifying Radhanath Swami, and one of the leaders, I think it was Tejo Armat Swami, said, and his guru, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, has taken the teachings of Madhvacharya and has spread it all over the world. So this was quite a surprise for many of them to hear that, because they thought mistakenly that you can't cross the ocean, therefore you become fallen. But he was their leader. And I remember also, I met him personally. He came to Jagannath Puri one year when we did a Jagannath Puri Yatra with Radhanath Swami and many of his disciples. That wasn't too long ago. That was about 5 or 6 years ago. Now he's no longer, he departed the world. So the Madhvas are very favorable to our movement and are also part of our Sampradaya. And it says that Lord Chaitanya appeared to him and told him, this was towards the end of his life, I will appear in your Sampradaya. So that's why we are connected with the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. Now it's the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya because of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, who personally told Madhvacharya that he was going to appear in his Sampradaya. Madhvacharya was writing a commentary on the Aitreya Upanishads. And at one point during that time of writing, he went into trance and he left the world. So he passed away in that same area of Udupi, writing this Aitreya Upanishads commentary like that. So these are just a few His life is really interesting. I would suggest, if you can, to get that book, Madhva Vijayam. If you do a little research, you might be able to find it. It's also authored by Narayanacharya. If you can find that purport, I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that describes the life of Madhvacharya. It's somewhere in, I think it's in Madhya Lila. I know it's not in Antya Lila, but I think it's in Madhya Lila. And if you do a little research, you can find Madhvacharya, and then in that purport it describes this book, Madhva Vijaya. Okay, so there's a little bit there. I'll stop there. And if anybody wants to make comments or even also offer some questions, we can begin.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. This is a wonderful, wonderful account of the birth and life of Madhvacharya. Dear devotees, if you have any questions, this is the time to unmute yourself. And please turn on your cameras also so Maharaj can see you.
We should
And
we should take personal interest in these great souls because they are our forefathers. They are they establish what we're trying to practice now. So they're very much connected to us on a personal level. Just like sometimes people like to know about, well, who is my grandfather and who is my great grandfather and my great great grandfather. We do a little family search to see who was who. But these people are actually our spiritual grandfathers, spiritual fathers. They have given us so much knowledge and also in their teachings on devotional service. So, therefore, we should take a personal interest in learning about these great acharyas, their lives, their contributions, and their obviously their instructions also.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please unmute yourself if you have a question, or you can raise your electronic hand also, and I'll call on you.
Electronic hand.
That's what it is to me. Hare Krishna.
It looks like you're getting into the area of robots now. Be careful.
Well,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance, Saga Shishir Prabhupada. Maharaj, thank you for this wonderful class, Maharaj. And I want to ask a question. My mind is just kind of not clear. When you mentioned that there's one thing that the Madhvacharya followers and us don't agree is how can Lord Brahma be bewildered? But that whole pastime of the stealing of the calves. I mean, the calves and the cowherd boys. But Marge, was that also a bewilderment? I'm assuming it's not, but I wanted to just clarify. Was that also a concern or a bewilderment by Srila Madhvacharya Prabhu?
I don't know. I don't think so, because I haven't heard any record of it. But there's a group of Madhvacharyas. I forgot what are they called. Sridevi, the followers of Madhvacharyas. It's mentioned also in different lectures by Prabhupada. They have a particular name. So this group, which is a group within the Madhva Sampradaya, they are quite strong of saying that, Lord Brahma, being the head of the Sampradaya, cannot be bewildered. So they don't even accept that pastime. So I forgot the name of this group. It's mentioned in the Bhagavatam, I think. So that's as much as I can say, but whether Madhvacharya accepted or not, we don't know. But I haven't heard anything. That's a good question. You'd probably have to go to someone who is an authority on Madhvacharya to find out more.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have a question. when you were talking about this, the followers of Madhavacarya not accepting that Brahma could be bewildered because he's a leader. Um, do they are part of our, they believe in some of the things we believe in also. So I'm just wondering if the followers accept the pastimes that Yogamaya is instrumental in causing. Do they accept it at all? Because we
Which
assume
pa
Yogamaya.
which pastimes are you referring to?
No, just in general, Yogamaya. Well, we can talk about even the gopis when they go to have a rasa dance in relation to Krishna. It's said in the Shastra that Yogamaya creates a double at their houses so that the house members don't know that the gopis have left. These are some of the things that Yogamaya does. I'm wondering, these people, these Madhva followers, they accept the activities of Yogamaya at all.
I don't know. I know their temple worship centers around Vaikuntha or Aishwarya Bhav.
Mm.
They're very enthusiastic and very focused on worshiping Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, and also on Vishnu deities and um, Lord Narayan, like that. And the only connection that I know with Krishna is Udupi Krishna, like that, and that was established personally by Madhvacharya. So they seem to lean towards more or less uh, Vaikuntha instead of Vrindavan.
All right, thank you very much. That explains it to a good extent. Shri Mataji, please go ahead, unmute yourself.
Thank you, Parikshit Prabhu. Dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. They also differ, Guru Maharaj, in the sense that we have Radha Krishna worship by Madhvendra Puri, while they worship only baby Krishna in the form of Udupi Sri Krishna. So,
Right.
Vatsalya mood is there, and other than that, they don't have this. In Udupi, baby Krishna is just 3 or 4 years old. So there is no concept of worshipping Radha Krishna there. So they don't
Yeah,
accept
that's a
that.
very, very essential point you made, because
Yeah.
only with the advent of Madhavendra Puri, who was connected with the Madhva Sampradaya, did the worship of Radharani appear. And then, of course, he became the Param Guru of Lord Chaitanya. His disciple was Ishwara Puri, who became the Guru of Lord Chaitanya. So you see the connection there. The Radha Krishna worship was not there before Madhavendra Puri. Although Radharani was there, it wasn't done in our Sampradaya. It's only with the appearance of Lord Chaitanya and, of course, Madhavendra Puri, who is an eternal associate of the spiritual world. He's a Nitya Siddha who appeared in this world.
So Maharaj Madhavendra Puri was the one that um, um, introduced the deity worship of Radha Krishna Maharaj.
Radharani. Krishna
Okay,
worship was already there. But as
okay.
Sri Devi said, Krishna was only 4 years old. So when it comes to Radha Krishna worship, that is Krishna's worshipped in his age as Kishore, which means 11 years old and older. So you don't see so many pastimes of Krishna and Radharani when he is before that age, except the pastime of Govardhan Hill. There is something there, but not much mentioned at all.
Mm.
So, so that was introduced by Madhavendra Puri.
Okay. Thank you
And
very much. Sorry.
Madhavendra Puri is not a small personality. It says that there are only 3 people in existence who have attained the perfection of spirituality to its utmost, and that is Srimati Radharani, Lord Chaitanya, and Madhavendra Puri. That's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Who is Madhavendra Puri? He is a Kalpa Vriksha tree in the spiritual world. That means one of those trees that you can go up to and say, give me this, and the tree will give you what you ask for. The life of Madhavendra Puri is very interesting with the, what is that? Kirkor Gopinath, the whole pastime of Kirkor Gopinath. The establishing of also the establishing of the, what is that deity he established in Vrindavan? I think it's now that deity is in Gujarat, or is it? Haribo. Can't remember the name of that deity. It's famous. People go all over the world to see that deity. Bal Krishna, you know that deity?
I just, which deity, Maharaj? I just joined.
The deity in Gujarat.
Rancho?
No.
Gurma Srinathji.
Srinathji, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Srinathji.
Yeah, Srinathji. He established that deity, Srinathji. That was Madhavendra Puri. The whole life of Madhavendra Puri centers around that one pastime. And you can read it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think there's a whole chapter dedicated to Madhavendra Puri. Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Any more questions?
One of the things that the Madhvats are very enthusiastic about, and one thing that I personally experienced, is that they like debate. They always get in debate. Lord Chaitanya took two principles from each of the four sampradayas, and one of the principles he took from Madhva Sampradaya was the complete refutation of Mayavadi philosophy. So they'll go and look for Mayavadis and challenge them. They're very active and one time I had gone to this World Conference of Religion. It's an event that's held in the world every 5 years. This was in the year 2004. It was in Barcelona, Spain. I was there with some other devotees, and there were many seminars. And at one point, there was a group meeting with many of the other religious leaders, and there was a panel discussion that was set up between different Christian groups and one Madhva. This one Madhva, he was a young man, and he was one of the five in this, and they each were meant to present their own philosophy and then give their understanding of their own teachings. And this was the way the panel was set up. But the Madhva broke all the rules. Instead of sitting there listening to their philosophies, when they would say something, he would jump in and challenge them. And, the moderator kept saying, no, this is not the way it's supposed to be conducted. But then he would be quiet for a while, and then when someone else would say something, he would again jump in. He was quite feisty. Some people didn't like it. Some people were bewildered by it. And I think I was a little slightly bewildered. I wasn't sure how to accept it. But that's their nature. They like debate, and they'll challenge, especially Mayavadis. And you'll see from, as I explained, the life of Madhvacharya, he defeated so many Mayavadis and turned them into Vaishnavas who became his followers. Okay, Sri Devi is on board there.
Maharaj, I have another question, Maharaj. If the Madhvacharya followers, and that's why we are called Brahma Gaudiya Madhva. Why?
No, go to Brahma Madhva Gaudiya.
Sorry, Maharaj. Why is why? I'm trying to see how to phrase this question properly. Why is there not a close, or is there a close relationship between the ISKCON devotees and the Madhava followers, or why can there not be a merger, lack of a better word? But like, why is that too different? I don't know if I'm clear in my question, Maharaj.
Well, I mentioned how Pejo Swami came to see Radhanath Swami when we were doing that program. He was one of the leaders at that time of the Madhva Sampradaya. They're very favorable to us, but they stay in their area and preach there. They have their 18 temples in that area of Udupi where they conduct their worship like that, and they worship Madhvacharya. As I mentioned, there was two, Pejo or Matswami and Tejo or Matswami, both. And when Radhanath Swami came to see them many years ago, this is more than 20, 25 years ago, they glorified Srila Prabhupada, saying to their followers, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is taking the teachings of Madhvacharya around the world. So I guess the general followers are just somewhat absorbed in their own. But these two leaders, they were prominent leaders, both of them. They became popular not only in their area, but even all around India. So these two leaders accepted Srila Prabhupada. Both of them left the world. One of them left the world just recently within the last 3 or 4 years.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. And so they're quite independent in their own worship. They have each sannyasi has his own mat, and they worship like that. And then they have the pariyaya. Pariyaya happens in January every other year, where they all get together and elect the new leaders of the different mats, because a mat leader cannot be there for more than 2 years. They keep changing leadership like that.
Mm.
And they have a ceremony, and you can go. You can find out which January it is, and you can go and spend some time there. I went once. I didn't go towards the Pariyaya. I went at another time when they had some of their meetings.
Hare Krishna.
But
Balakrishna.
generally, they focus on their own areas. They don't come out so much. Yeah.
Balakrishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please
Hey,
accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to Vaishnavas everywhere.
bye.
Maharaj, you had mentioned one book that we could read about Madhvacharya, which is, I'm always looking for books, which I don't know if I'll ever get to them. There's too many Vaishnava books, including the Bhagavatam, which is endless, apparently. And but this makes me think, Maharaj, out of the Pancha Tattva, I mean, are there biographies like we have for the greatest one is Chaitanya Charitamrita, obviously, but for the Pancha Tattva, do we have biographies that we could read?
On Lord Chaitanya?
No, of the Pancha Tattva, the others, Advaita Acharya, Srivasa, all those
Yeah,
others.
well, there's a book called Nityananda.
Nityananda.
There's one on Lord Nityananda.
Mhm.
There's a book on On the Dvaita, which is somewhat controversial, whether it's authorized or not, by a person called Ishana. I have a copy of that also. There's one on Nityananda, there's one on Advaita. There's no individual books on Srivas or Gadadhar, but there's commentaries on their life written as part of larger works. You can find that also, especially Srivas Thakur.
Wonderful.
Not so much on Gadadhar.
Hmm.
But if you can hear about Gadadhar and Srivas and Advaita in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes.
Yes.
Now for commentaries on Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, there is the Chaitanya Bhagavat. The Chaitanya Bhagavat is considered to be the father of all of the commentaries, and it was written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. The Vrindavan Das Thakur is a disciple of Lord Nityananda. So when he writes the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, he gives a lot of space in his commentaries to speaking about Lord Nityananda. So you'll see that's the difference between Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. You'll find there's two differences. One, Chaitanya Bhagavat is more pastimes and less tattva.
That's good.
Yeah. And it's also more emphasis on Lord Nityananda. Of course, it's balanced. Lord Chaitanya is there also. So the three main biographies on the life of Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Chaitanya Mangala by Lochan Das Thakur, are the three main ones that we generally adhere to. Chaitanya Bhagavat, the commentaries on that, there's about 7 books on that particular text. It's in volumes. It's 2 in Adi Leela, 4 in Madhya Leela, and 2 in Ancha Leela. So there's 8 books. And these commentaries are by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So it's interesting. You can read that also. There's a set, and you can purchase that set. It's available somewhere. Yeah, that's worth reading. Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's full of nectar.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Sri Devi Mataji, then Damara after that.
Thank you, Parikshit Prabhu. I wanted to also, share a little bit about my recent visit when I went last year to Udupi. They do have a lot of respect for our ISKCON devotees. I did not say anything, but I had my bead bag around my neck, and they feed thousands and thousands and thousands of people every day, free meals for everyone around the clock. From morning to evening, it goes on. So I was in the line, just like everyone else, standing. But the moment that security person saw me, he immediately he opened a side gate, ushered me saying, go this way, go this way. And I was taken to a special part of the temple where they have, all the brahmanas sitting and all the, the people who are involved with the temple. They were all sitting and having prasadam, and the young people were singing devotional songs during the meal. So it was like, wow, I get to be over here. So he had a lot of respect just because I was from ISKCON. I did not even know anything, but they have a lot of respect for us. That much I could tell.
Yeah, there's a devotee named Gokul Chandra. He stays there. He's an initiated by Radhanath Swami, and he is also a member of the Udupi Mat there. His influence has also helped us also. When I came, they took me I went there in the early morning lines. He took me and he put me right in the front. and he gave me a extended darshan because the guards usually move you along so you don't take too long in the darshan. But he let me stand there as long as I wanted. So, that was nice.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and so
Um,
they're very inclined to serve Vaishnavas.
okay. Damodar.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. All glories to the devotees on the call. I have a maybe a basic question. You were talking about the book of Madhvacharya's biography, Madhva Vijay, and I am at very initial stage of my bhakti or devotion, uh, so I'm still reading the small books of Prabhupada. So do you recommend these kinds of book for the devotees who are just starting their spiritual journey? Because I feel if I start reading like Madhva Vijay, for sure, I will be confused with this with a particular point you talked
Yeah,
about.
better you stick to Prabhupada's books and read Chaitanya Charitamrita, read Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, I haven't read Madhva Vijaya. I don't have a copy, and I never read it. But in our ISKCON movement, there are two small books published. One is called Madhvacharya, The Life of Madhvacharya. The other one's called Ramanujacharya, Life of Ramanujacharya. So these two books were published also within ISKCON. So that is more of a condensed version um, that you could read. But to get Madhva Vijaya, that's an extensive work. So
So should we take it is that the best course of book reading
let's
for
stick
the
stick
new
with
devotees?
yeah, stick to Srila Prabhupada's books. Once you read Prabhupada's books, you get a working knowledge. You start preaching Prabhupada's books, then you can start, you know, supplementing or supporting Srila Prabhupada's books by the works of the previous acharyas. But no, I wouldn't recommend you do that. It'll take away from the time, and you need so much time for reading. So yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Uh,
Sri Mataji, your hand is still up. I'm wondering if you have follow-up or no. No? Okay. All right. Okay, there's nothing else. Any other questions? I checked the chat. There's no questions there. Any other questions? If not, then thank you, Maharaj, so much for this wonderful recounting of the life of Madhvacharya. And now I'm wondering if you have some time to do some japa with us.
well, I'm just about ready to do an evening program where I am. I'm in indoor
Okay.
right now. I'm
Okay.
not in. So I'll do one round with you.
Okay.
That's all I can do. Just
Sorry.
keep going after the one round. Don't just stop.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. All right.
I
Sridevi
just want to make
Mataji.
I
Sorry.
want to make an announcement also.
Hmm.
Tomorrow is the disappearance of Ramanujacharya.
Hmm.
So tomorrow we'll speak about Ramanujacharya, which is fascinatingly interesting also.
Hare Krishna Guru
Okay.
Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances all goes to Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much for this class. Thank you. Parikshit Prabhu, I joined through my phone. I'm not able to share my screen.
Okay.
Sridevi Mataji can do that.
Yeah, Sridevi Mataji, I made you co-host also. So both of you are co-hosts. You can just feel free
I
to
want
do
to
that.
say one thing also. The Madhva Sampradaya and the Sri Sampradaya followers of Ramanuja are very strong in their areas, and they have a great lineage. And they have books, they have followers, they have preaching. They're very strong. One of the reasons why they're very strong is they follow their Sampradayacharyas very carefully. So they glorify Madhvacharyas, glorify Madhvacharya all the time. Talk about his books, read his books, discuss his books, preach his books. Sri Sampradaya, Ramanuja, they do the same thing. Therefore, one of the reasons why they're still both popular and still spiritually strong in their worship and in their preaching is because they adhere to their Sampradayacharya. This is a message, a very strong and very important message for us. If we want to stay strong as a movement and expand more and more, as Lord Chaitanya predicted, we have to keep Srila Prabhupada foremost in everything we do, our teachings, our worship, our settling of discussions and problems. Prabhupada must be prominent in the life of each and every devotee. If we don't take time to learn about Prabhupada, hear from Prabhupada, read his books, and understand what he has given us, and learn how to practice it, then our movement will grow weak in due course of time. So keeping Prabhupada in the focus, in the front, is one of our main concerns in the execution of our devotional service. And we have the example of Madhvacharya, the Madhvats, and the Sri Sampradaya are strong thousands of years because they keep their Sampradayacharya foremost.
Thank you, Maharaj, for this very strong statement to let us realize your Prabhupada is, as they say in America, your Prabhupada is it. So
Yeah.
we need to understand that way.
Yeah, Prabhupada gave us everything and he taught us how to use it also.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. This is a personal thing that I wanted to tell you, Maharaj. I'm going to write to you. I have two questions, but I think they're controversial and better I write to you rather than even ask them here.
Okay,
So I'll be writing to you.
I'm known as the controversial Swami. So
Hare Krishna.
I'm gonna have to get my beads. So I'll be back in 14 seconds. I'll be back.
Hare Krishna. Please stay to the extent that you can. Chanting together is very nice. When Maharaj comes, then we all start chanting. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna